Right, and welcome back. Still Breakfast Central on News Central today, the 3rd day of December 2019. Let's go straight to more on the impact. We looked at the social media bill in Nigeria that was proposed on November the 5th. The Senate reintroduced a bill that will regulate the use of social media in the country. Now, the proposed legislation is formally titled as Protection from Internet Falsehood and Manipulation Bill 2019. Now, it's different from another separate one against the hate speech sponsored by the Senate, Senator Aliyu Sabi, that proposes death penalty for hate speech. Sponsors of the proposed legislation. Now, Senator Mohammed Musa said the bill is aimed at curbing fake news on the internet, and it will help to restore sanity on Nigerian social media. That is, if the bill is approved by both chambers of the National Assembly and signed into law by President Muhammadu Buhari. And now Senator Musa said that that his bill was aimed at guiding social media users and not to gag media practitioners in Nigeria. However, this is not the first time that the government has muled the passing of a bill to regulate the use of social media. Now, many other African countries such as Uganda, Tanzania, even South Africa in recent times also propped up legislation to control the internet and stop alleged abuses. Now, case in point are the Tanzanian annual blogger license fee, the Ugandan government's introduction of social media tax, the internet shutdown in Benin Republic, and also in Egypt's internet censorship. In all these cases, instances of falsehood and fake news were cited as reasons for such tight control of the internet activities. But to really make sense of all this I'm joined by Seun Akinyemi, who's program officer from EIE, an organization that specializes in the social media advocacy. Well, welcome, Seun Akinyemi, up to Breakfast Central.
Good morning.
Morning. Quite a lot's been going on. In fact, first of all, let's bring it back home. There are two bills that related to social media. Okay. We can start from there. Which one is which one, first of all?
There's one about the protection and the internet falsehood. That was the social media bill.
Social media bill, okay.
The second one is about hate speech bill. Hate speech bill.
So the hate speech bill is the one that was proposed by a senator, which talked about having a death penalty. It's not, passed. It's not been passed yet.
It has not yet been gazetted by the National Assembly.
Yeah. But I think it's gone through the reading, right?
No, I don't think
hasn't
so.
gone through the reading. The hate speech bill is many on social media actually, related that this is actually social media wise to the hate speech bill.
Yeah.
And we also have a social media bill with the hate speech bill at the same time trying to pass. What's really going on? Because though there have been comments from senators saying, no, this is not to crack down or gag media in all sense. But before media, freedom of speech in court. I think that's one of the first questions we should be asking regarding these social media bills, quote unquote, that are being passed.
Well, recently, if you notice, you noticed that there has been several attempts. It's not only about the social media. It's not only about the hate speech, but there has been several attempts to kind of shrink the civic space in Nigeria, to close the civic space in Nigeria. Sometimes ago, the speaker, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, said that they want to propose that they would look into the bill that talks about regulating the NGO space. The NGO bill, that they will look into the bill again after they've thrown out the bill. So one begins to wonder, why is the government scared of the civic space? Why are they scared of people saying the truth or constructively criticizing what they are doing when they are wrong? Do they want us to just keep quiet, or are they scared of us just talking? And in a democracy, majority rule, but the interest of the minority also needs to be protected. And in democracy also gives room for opposition. So we need to speak out. We don't have to be silent about these things. This social media bill was first introduced by something similar.
Fake news, falsehood prohibition.
Something similar to it was first introduced by Senator Ibn Nala in 3 years ago. That should be in 2016. Under the leadership of Senator when Bukola Saraki
was in power,
was the Senate president.
Okay.
So after a while, after the public outcry, after the noise that we don't want this bill to be passed, Ekweremadu withdrew the bill from the Senate, and then they stopped it there. And that was the end of the bill. But reintroducing the bill again, so it just seems that the government is just bent on stifling the civic space or closing the civic space. However, there are these laws that we have currently.
Yeah.
They are enough.
That's the normal laws.
The laws we have currently, yeah, the laws in the Constitution, they are enough to guide the social media space.
Really?
Yeah, the laws we have, they cover all possible crimes that can be committed using the social media. Even the Cybercrime Act that was assented by Dr. Goodluck Jonathan in 2015, it covered it, and it also gave room for abuses. And then EIE, Enough Enough Nigeria Paradigm Initiative, Media Right Agenda, we are currently in court to repeal Section 24 of the Cybercrime Act. So why do we need to create new ones when we already have existing laws that already? So
basically, it's a reproduction of laws, you know.
Exactly. So why can't we just strengthen or implement
different? Are they not? Well, when I say are they? At least, you know, when these bills are being drafted, are they not aware of these other concurrent laws that go beside it? I don't know where. So what's going on? It seems that there's a bit of overlapping and blanketness going on.
Exactly. So why do we really need to? Well, I don't know, because I can't speak for them, so I can't really say whether they are aware.
Then it shows a lie. Then perhaps it smacks a bit of ignorance on the part.
I think so, because even just copying, just lifting what the social, just lifting or doing copy and paste, just like we do. Some of us did when we were in university or secondary school. Then copy and paste of this Singapore social media bill, and just lifting it to our own country without considering our sociological environment, without considering our cultural environment, without considering our
just mentioned
peculiarities.
you cited the Singapore social media bill. There are a couple of countries, both developing and developed countries, who have, you know, laws that are specific to internet and social media use. Are we saying that we're trying to follow in those kind of mediums to get ours own here? Because some of these countries already have laws that should take care of, you know, whatever that's going on without particularly attacking internet use or form of gagging human rights speech in those countries. So why this level of anxiety, if I were to use the word, to rush to drafts?
Even someone from Singapore reached out to us that they are against the social media.
Someone in Singapore government or civil organizations in Singapore too.
Yes, the civil organization in Singapore to reach out to us that they are against the bill, and then the person sent the kind of some press release of what the bills are, what they have been using the act to do, and then they have been using it to attack. Based on what I read, that they have been using it to attack opposition, sort of like that in Singapore. And secondly, Singapore as a country, when I check their ranking in terms of World Freedom of Index, they rank 151st out of 180 countries.
In terms of freedom index?
World Freedom of Press Index.
Press, okay. So
why do we need to follow that kind of country? In that instance, I was checking their Transparency International in terms of corruption index. They rank 3rd. So why can't we copy that aspect that they are doing great?
Oh, okay. For countries like Singapore, transparency-wise and corruption-wise,
they rank 3rd,
which is
quite good. It's very good. If you come 3rd in my class, then I'm a good student. So why can't we copy that aspect? Why do we need to go through that route, the parts that they are not doing, that they are doing badly or that they are not doing well? So why should it be that one that we are now just lifting or copying and bringing to our own system?
All right. Can there be a win-win situation with this proposed social media bill between the government and the citizens? What's the positive that can come out of this?
Well, the positive that can come out of it for me is for them to withdraw the bill.
Which one? Both?
Both. They should withdraw it, and then probably they should strengthen the existing laws, and then the commissions that, like the NCC, they should strengthen and then implement the existing laws. So that's the only win-win that I can think out of it. The good, and one thing our politicians don't know is that if bad laws should pass, they can't be in government forever. They too will get out one day.
Yeah.
And they might also be victim of that bad law.
Is social media a problem? If from Enough is Enough organization that you represent, is social media a problem when it comes to Nigeria specific, whether it's on politics or civil society? Is social media, the use of social media, a problem?
Well, just like every other thing, there are pros and there are cons of using social media.
Yeah.
We agree that people share fake news on social media.
Fake news is everywhere. Donald Trump is talking about fake news.
So even people share inciting comments on social media.
Yeah.
But do we really need to create another law since what we have already cover it? So why do we need to create another law again to silence or to attempt to silence dissenting voices?
Are we going to get to a level where there's social media policing by the Nigerian government?
Well, I think there was a time that they actually said that there some part, maybe they set aside some part of the budget to. Yeah,
because even people like Mark Zuckerberg, the Twitters of this world, the Facebook of this world, the Instagram, this big Silicon Valley, juggernauts are also having challenges with, navigating, not just fake news, fraud, homophobic, extremism, comments on social media, and especially when it comes to elections, manipulation, advertising. We heard the whole debacle with Cambridge Analytica, which, even Nigeria was cited in such a case. Now, do you think these are more of the kind of issues that our government should be looking at with these big bodies rather than trying to just clamp down on the little individuals who just have a phone and just, trying to express their opinions about, whether it's the polity or the economy or whatever that's going on?
Exactly. So they should use the existing laws to kind of deal with those that are guilty of sharing fake news. Rather, they don't really need to create new ones. Just like you said,
election manipulation was a big deal. We saw Zuckerberg even summoned to Capitol Hill.
Exactly. Exactly. So that was it. So we agree that there are issues using social media, but you just now.
And these issues are beyond just the average Nigerian citizen.
It's not even peculiar to Nigeria alone. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
So why do you not need to? For instance, there's a provision in the bill that talks about if someone shares fake news and then the Nigerian police should order.
Have we defined what fake news would mean in the Nigerian space? Because even fake news in the global space is still quite a huge
exactly.
debate.
So
what constitutes fake
What constitutes fake news? What constitutes hate speech? So hate speech
or
to
what
me,
constitutes news? Because I'm a media person, I'm a journalist, I come from a news perspective. So what constitutes news, first of all, then fake news? Is it only journalists to report? What about citizen, journalism? If something happens and you report it with evidence, that's the day and age we find ourselves, Yes, you have to talk about fact checking. That can be left, to the professionals. Yeah. But it doesn't stop the individual from reporting what's going on, whether you see something, whether it's political or economic, all the same.
The beauty of social media is that I think there's what is called agenda setting theory in media. There is the gatekeeping in the normal traditional media, but in social media we don't have that. So let's assume I'm going on my way now. I'm seeing a police officer misbehaving, sort of.
Yeah.
I can easily record it on my phone and share it on social media that see your officers. If I'm able to get the code, good news, Nigerian police will take it up from there. So it's provided.
In that kind of case, how fake is that news?
So the social media really provide a platform for Nigerians. It will be difficult for me as an ordinary citizen to go to reach the Commissioner of Police or the Inspector General of Police. But with social media, I can engage the Nigerian police directly. I can engage even the Senate President directly. I can engage presidency directly, and I'm sure that he may not be the handler. But someone will see it and then someone will reach out to me. For instance, Governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, from his tweets, you know that this man is the one, if not all the time, at least there are times he handles his Twitter handle himself. So he'll be able to see the issues that Nigerians are raising with his government. He'll be able to relate with them. There are times he tweets directly because from the tone of the tweet, you know that this is directly from the governor. So via social media, people can relate directly with their elected officials, with their public officials.
If we go back to because we talked about the falsehood bill, spreading fake news bill. What about the hate speech bill? Because from the government perspective, have they been able to define what hate speech would be in any context, not just a Nigerian context? Because there's been lots of talk about the hate speech bill, especially when it came out that one of the proposed consequences would be a death sentence. That really got people really riled up.
In a world that people are thinking of abolishing capital punishments, that's when we are now thinking of death penalty because
for hate speech.
But
this hate speech, does it really happen, or is it social media that it happens? Or hate speech can be anywhere?
It could be anywhere. Yeah. Based on what I read in the bill, it's not limited to social media.
Okay.
And now the issue is how can we define hate speech?
What constitutes hate speech?
What is hate speech to me? Is it the same thing as hate speech to you? And if we leave it to, so that means
who interprets the?
So government can always twist it to their own, especially probably if they see me as an opposition, they can only twist it to suit their purpose. That what I just said now constitutes hate speech, and then every statement has its own implication.
Why does the police come into the law come into this one? Because you talked about the law already has existing parameters to judge this. Doesn't the law have existing parameters for hate speech specifically that we can really just borrow and run with that? Because if the law talks about its hate speech and the criminalization of hate speech, then we have to involve the enforcers of the law, which is the police.
Yeah, I think just like I said earlier, that the Cybercrime Act is all encompassing, sort of, and it also gave room for abuses. I remember there was a time that former chocolate, I'm not sure, maybe it's former chocolate city boss or current chocolate city boss, Abdul was arrested for an information he shared on social media. And so he was accused of sharing comments that incited the public also, that during the Southern Kaduna crisis.
So he was accused.
So he was accused of using the social media to share kind of inciting comments.
Exactly. And that's what led to his. Was he arrested? Really?
He was arrested, but later on the court said that the Kaduna State government should pay in damages.
And released.
And it should be released, but I'm not sure they've paid the damages.
Well, there's quite a lot to really cover on this one. So how are organizations like yours, what are you doing to really get people aware of, because you're a civil society group.
Yeah.
So what's the agenda? What's going to be done now?
Currently, so the social media bill has passed the first reading, the second reading, so it's at the committee stage. So from there to move to the public hearing. So an organization, Paradigm Initiative, has drafted a kind of a template for people to follow to write memo to the Senate committee in charge of this bill, to kind of express their grievances to us.
They have a couple of petitions online that has been going on.
Exactly. So everything else put together. Also, we have a website called shineyoureye.org. If you go there, you get contact details of your elected representatives, be it senators, House of Reps, state House of Assemblies, and governors. Yeah. So you can also engage them as well to let them know that, you are not happy with this bill. You advise that they withdraw it, or to ask for their stand on the bill, and then tell them your own position, that this is my position on this bill, because they are actually there to represent us.
Representation,
Exactly. So this is time for us to engage them, and not a time for us to be silent. If social media bill is passed today and then social media is shut down, a lot of businesses will be affected.
Is it going to be shut down? I don't think so. No.
Yeah, but there's a provision in the bill that says that let's assume if you share fake news on Twitter now, then the Nigerian police will reach out to NCC. NCC will reach out if you use MTN or Spectranet. NCC will reach out to Spectranet, and then they will tell Spectranet to pull down the media or the used online location, which is the website or whatever media you use to disseminate the information to pull it down.
Particularly shutting down internet in Nigeria, because
so it will not be that total shutdown, but it will be something MTN will shut it down on their own platform, so nobody using MTN will be able to access that
site or blog or where it was shared that are alleged to have.
So that's directly shutting it down.
All right. Quite an insightful one. Thank you so much, Seun Akinyemi, a programs officer from EIE. That's enough.
Thank you so much.
In Nigeria, giving us insight about social media, and also the other bill that talks about fake news, falsehood sharing. Thank you so much for coming. And maybe it might be time for a couple of us, not just outside the media, to have our eyes shined.